Welcome, graduates, to Geek Salad's Retro Movie Reviews from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And we are back talking about the films of PIXAR. We took about a month and a half off. Actually, it's only 2 months to discuss the biggest bombs of the summer.
Yep.
And now we're back because we made a pledge that we were going to cover every PIXAR movie ever made.
Yes.
We are more than halfway there, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have the list right in front of me, but
we are legitimately only we're 8 years out. We are 8 years out from where we're at right now, and there are gaps in between. There was not a movie released in 2014.
Yeah, typically they just release 1 year or one every other year. So
yeah, so yeah, and that movie this week is Monsters University.
Yes, the prequel.
The
Monsters
prequel. Inc. Yes, it is. It is Pixar's first prequel. We're halfway there. Okay.
Oh, living on a prayer.
See the podcast over. Go forth and be nerdful.
He put the music in there.
Yeah, okay. You're both banished. You're both expelled.
Oh, we can't be scarers. Dang.
Yeah. So what was your overall impression? I know you've seen this before. I think you and I did rewatches today for it, but we've seen it prior, right?
I'd seen it once before. I genuinely don't remember when I first saw it. I have a feeling that Jonna might have shown it to me.
Okay.
Because she does that a lot.
Okay. No, that's sound of a good relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't see this one in the theater. A number of little things were going on then. My son was born, so we were kind of at a premium for going to movies.
Hmm.
I mean, in fact, I think our first movie after James was born was Iron Man 3, and we ended up going months after that movie was released.
So your first movie after Scarlett was born was Iron Man.
No, it wasn't.
It was right before
when Iron Man came out. No, first movie we saw after Scarlett was born was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we did, and I think we rented. I think we may have. Yeah, we definitely rented Monsters University, like through Netflix, back when we used to get the DVDs from Netflix.
Ah, the classic time.
Yes, exactly. Which they still apparently do.
Yeah, I think they do. It's just they got a weird thing going on with that.
Yeah, so I tell people that their minds are just like blown.
Yeah.
All right, so you got a chance to watch it tonight. What your overall impressions in terms of this one being the first? Yeah, God, I did it again. I always forget that there were 2 Toy Story movies that followed Toy Story before Monsters University comes out. But outside of the Toy Story universe,
Cars 2.
Fuck. All right, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about then.
The first prequel.
This is the first prequel. That is true. So, thoughts?
It's fine. I mean, I don't know. Going with a prequel is always kind of a tricky because most of the time prequels are pretty unnecessary. They really don't further the story too much. I mean, the whole point of a prequel is to tell you stuff about the characters that you didn't know. And this one kind of did, but mostly didn't. It's a fine movie. It just, for me, it's a big so what?
Yeah. I kind of feel like with this movie, and full disclosure, I actually don't remember liking the movie as much as I did watching it this time around. It's like for some reason something just kind of clicked with this. Part of that is because in Monsters Incorporated, Mike and Sully are just they're a really tight, cohesive unit. So being able to kind of see how that happened and how they do have their conflicts, I thought was really well handled, and their overall resolution is believable. I feel like how they ended up being where they're at the start of Monsters Inc. is it makes a lot of sense now knowing what you see in Monsters University.
I mean, but They never really kind of explained that, like, kind of Mike is the coach. I mean, he just seems to be like an assistant more in Monsters Inc. than anything.
Right. Well, they work as a team, and that
Yeah.
unfortunately that is the fault of Monsters Incorporated, not Monsters University, in terms
Yeah.
of how the scare floor works. That they have essentially what it is. It's a scarer and a manager.
Yeah.
Like he is. You're right. He's a coach.
Yeah.
And it is pretty. It is pretty interesting how their friendship comes about. The Randall stuff I felt was a little crammed in there. It's like they had to kind of explain Randall.
That's the last time I lose to you, Sullivan. Wink.
Yeah. But it is a tie back. I'm honestly amazed there weren't more tie backs. You were going to get the Roz tie back. You always do. Roz is a big part of the Monsters universe.
Right.
Have you watched Monsters at Work?
I watched the first episode. Again, John showed me that one.
Okay. I watched the first episode. I really liked it.
Yeah.
It just, we haven't picked back up on it.
Same here.
I don't know why. Just, we haven't. There's a lot of stuff, like I'm still trying to do the dad time stuff with my kids in terms of watching stuff, but I just kind of feel like at some point this is just going to end up being like okay, your mom's out, let's just binge all of these now. Good Lord, my hair is flying all over the place here. It is hot and humid today.
Yeah, why do you think I'm wearing a hat?
Yeah,
because my hair's a mess. Yeah,
and I am just like, my hair has grown out enough that it doesn't look like a white supremacist anymore. So, yeah. Taking that 1940s hairstyle for a spin. Just wait till you see the facial hair. That's all me and my Facebook page. It might go on Twitter too. But I like this universe. It's not something I need to invest fully in. But I like this universe. I like I like that there's just this never-ending slew of different character designs that you can do. And even with this one, there are certain characters in there, which now I have to pull up IMDb to pull up all the character names, because that's a big fault of this movie.
Got it right here.
Okay.
Which
one? The biggest fault of this movie is that the names of anybody other than Mike and Sully and Randall are not that memorable. Yeah. Because there's so many of them.
I mean, there's Charlie Day as Art,
Art. That's
two
the one
legs.
I was thinking of. Yeah, because he's legs essentially. He's just legs with eyes and a mouth in the middle.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really clever design and something you don't see a lot of. It reminds me a lot of like the first season Muppet Show type of stuff.
I can see that. I'm fairly certain they did have just a monster that's legs.
Yeah. That was a really interesting design.
I mean, my favorite design on this one is easily Dean Harscrabble.
Oh my God, what a great scary design that is.
Especially when they just they show right at the beginning when she starts walking, just see all the legs at the behind. Oh, that was cool.
Oh, it's great because they did a great job with Water News in the first movie, and I felt like her design was amazing because it is scary. It was like when she flies up, she is very scary.
Oh yeah, you can tell that she was the 4-time lead scare in the Scare Games.
Yeah, so she's a centipede with a dragon's head and wings.
Yeah,
which is
voiced by Helen Mirren.
Oh yeah, so there you go. Exactly.
I always
my old lady crush.
Absolutely.
But I that's the thing I like about these movies. I like that they can be. So, the other thing too about this, like, there's always a snail creature.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I ever saw that there is an after credits.
Oh, I missed this one.
All right, so first of all, let me tell you how I came upon this. I'm watching it on Disney Plus. The way that you can tell if there is no after credits anything is they will immediately dip to "You might like this." immediately. So they might have pulled up Monsters Inc. Or they might have pulled up another Pixar movie in that vein. They do it all the time with the MCU shows. So if you've got What if you're finishing What If, they'll immediately pull up Falcon and Winter Soldier or Loki. But they didn't do that. I'm like, okay, then there's definitely an extra scene. And it's when Mike hits the campus, there's like that one yellow snail that's like, oh, I gotta get to class.
And
he's barely moving. Yeah. So they show him getting into class. I'm here. Can't wait for my first day. And it says "Happy Summer" on the chalkboard. It's really funny.
Actually, I think they. Who voices that? That snail.
That snail.
Yeah, they actually. I saw it in here somewhere.
Okay.
Bill Hader.
Oh, it's Bill Hader who does. Oh, great.
Yeah, Bill Hader as referee / slug.
Very
I think he plays. I think he voices the referee and the slug. So.
Yeah. I think the voice casting in this is top notch. That's a Pixar thing though. I mean, how many Pixar movies are you just like, wait, there were a voice in that? And I can only think of one movie where it's like, I couldn't name you a single voice, and it's actually coming up in a few movies.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
The Good Dinosaur. Name me anybody.
Oh crap! He plays a cowboy in pretty much everything. He's always crank. Yeah, that's it. Isn't he? Yeah, I think Sam Elliott, the voice in there.
He may be. The thing with Sam Elliott is that every time if I don't see him with like that walrus mustache, I feel like there's just something wrong with this world. Like when he's clean shaven, it's like, oh no, why'd you get rid of that magnificent mustache?
That is a really nice mustache.
It is. It's a fantastic mustache.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Monsters University. This is. I honestly could have forgiven this movie had it been released direct to video, which was, I think, on its waning days in 2013. Like they weren't doing those direct to DVD sequels and prequels at that point.
Right.
And obviously the budget, the effects, the voice casting shows that this definitely was going to be a theatrical release. But it wouldn't have felt out of place being one of their better direct-to-DVD movies. This would have been up there with like Lion King 2.5.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think prequels, especially, are best. I mean, if they'd gone to like a direct video, it would be fine because I think the sequel, or in this case, the sequel series, is kind of where they should have gone in the first place. I mean, the past is. I mean, the prequel, fine. It didn't offend me. It was okay.
Right.
But I didn't really care about where they were because the ending of Monsters Inc. was just such a giant tonal shift of the entire universe that where they begin in like the very first episode of Monsters at Work is much more interesting than the entire movie of Monsters.
Right. And, well, I do feel also like it's easier to explain what happened in the past than it would have been to happen in the future, which is why it took 8 years to actually decide maybe we could do it this way instead.
Yeah.
Considering, it was 8 years in between Inc. and University. It's been 20 years, almost 20 years since Inc. and Work.
Mm-hmm.
So they've had plenty of time to think about how they were going to move the laugh floor forward.
Yeah.
Other than, at the Magic Kingdom. I always forget they have to be pun jokes. I submit this brilliant snail joke every time I go, and I forget they don't do it that way.
Yeah. I've been to the laugh floor, I think, twice. And
go every time.
Pretty much for me, it's much like Monsters University. It's fine.
Yeah.
I really, if I don't go, I don't care.
Yeah, it's not exactly something I would miss if I had to, like, oh, okay, like, I do Space Mountain, or am I gonna do? I'm gonna do Space Mountain every day. I will wait for the length of how long it takes me to get into the laugh floor to wait in line for Space Mountain.
There's a 5 minute wait for Laugh Floor. There's a half an hour wait for Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion it is.
Yep. But you know what? It was, I think, for us. I try to remember the last time we were doing it. We were there to buy some. We were just kind of like waiting out something. I don't remember what, but we were waiting out something before maybe a Fast Pass or it was later. And I remember thinking, I have to get to the store because it's like the store's going to close. We promised Jamie we were going to buy him a Buzz Lightyear, like the actual like full size, all action figure Buzz Lightyear. And it's like I wanted to wait as long as we possibly could, so I wouldn't have to carry that goddamn thing around the park because I couldn't. We were leaving the next day, so I couldn't you just send it to our hotel. Yeah. That thing did end up sitting like between my legs at Space Mountain afterwards, though, because those goddamn cars. But
so you're saying you had Buzz between your legs?
Quiet.
I'm sorry, I couldn't let it go.
I understand. But I mean, all in all, with the Monsters movies in general, I find that they actually get better on repeat viewings. At first, I wasn't the biggest fan of Monsters, Inc. And I think I mentioned this before, forever ago. But I really Sell It After Dark. Wow. I think I mentioned this, that I wasn't the biggest fan of Monsters, Inc. when it came out. And I watched it. It was okay. This is getting a little better. And then I watched it like, I'm really digging this movie. I'm getting more out of it.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about Monters University. It's not top shelf Pixar.
No.
And it's never going to be top shelf Pixar. No. But excluding the Toy Story sequels, okay? Because those are like trying to compare any Star Wars movie to A New Hope. You can try, and absolutely you will have a good argument, but you will always fail because it came first. This might be the best follow-up. It's tough because of Incredibles 2, but I haven't watched that in a while, and I remember I'm still unclear as to whether or not it was absolute euphoria of why I liked Incredibles 2 so much. When we get to the rewatch on that.
Yeah, I mean, I need to rewatch it as well because I've only seen it in theaters.
With me.
But I mean, right now, I still see it. I think it's better than Monsters U.
Okay.
For me, Monsters U is just kind of pointless. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
If you like it, great. I didn't really see a reason for it.
It feels like it took up a slot.
Yeah.
It did. And I can agree with that. I can agree that it felt like it's taking up a slot in the Pixar release schedule.
It's like they need something to go there. It's like, what do we got in the block? Monsters U. All right, call up Billy Crystal and John Goodman. Yeah,
John Goodman will take our calls.
And you know
what's interesting too is we a couple of weeks ago we went to the Boston Museum of Science, and they have the art of Pixar, and the science of Pixar, and how they make a fully CG movie. And you can kind of tell their most crowning achievements because those are the ones that are featured in their exhibit. So they did one on rendering, and it was all Coco. They did one on storyboard to final shot with Inside Out. There were a number of movies that they picked. There was one about perspective that they were using with WALL-E. There was one with Incredibles 2 that was about animation. Nothing for Monsters University.
One thing that does just came to my mind is I thought it was kind of weird that the fact that like Monsters Inc. Sully was the main character, and Mike Wazowski was like the very strong supporting character. I would say.
I'd go with a Crystal and Goodman, or Goodman and Crystal. They're interchangeable. They are the leads. This is a buddy. They're buddy movies.
Yeah. This one was Mike Wazowski. Mike Wazowski was the star, and Sully was just a strong supporting character.
Yes.
I thought it was kind of weird. Because, I mean, honestly, between the two, I prefer Sully. Especially how he is in Monsters, Inc. And Monsters at Work, because he's much more laid back. You know, Mike was just, he's always much more high maintenance, high strung.
Dare I say that Sully has his head on his shoulders because he actually has shoulders.
I mean, that's fair.
That's very fair. It's not a lie. Mike is essentially a big ball with arms and legs.
Does he wink? Does he wink or does he blink?
Are you asleep? Yeah, try to. Now go away. Do centaurs have two rib cages?
Anyway,
yeah. I mean, this is fine. My daughter pointed out something about this movie, though, and it's the same thing with the first Monsters. There are no strong females in this movie. This one at least had
Hardscrabble.
But, you know, she's more of an antagonist than she is anything else.
There really is no villain in this one, though.
No, there isn't. I mean, the closest thing you're also going to get are the frat boys, you know. Voiced by Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, they had a lot of those monsters are voiced by some pretty big names, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Alfred Molina was the Scaring 101 professor.
Yep.
Aubrey Plaza was the kind of emo commentator.
She was like the gothy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Foley.
Yeah, he was one of the two heads.
Yeah, Dave Foley was one of the two heads. Who's the other head, though?
Sean P. Hayes.
Oh, Sean Hayes. Yeah.
Yeah.
From Will and Grace.
Yep. Charlie Day.
Really?
Charlie Day was Art. Joel Murray is the old Uzma Kappa member.
Okay.
Bobby Moynihan is the he's one of the members of Omega Roar.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I mean, John Krasinski is the scarer at the beginning that gives the hat to Mike.
Oh, cool. Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler's in there?
Yeah, he was Fritz. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at Monsters at Work.
Oh, okay.
Oops. But yeah, no, it's fine. It is at Cocksure, you absolutely. I'm amazed the nerds didn't show up as much for this movie as you'd think they did. I don't remember this movie doing poorly, but this was the year Frozen came out, so nothing was beating it at the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, it pulled a budget of $200 million, box office 743.6.
Oh yeah,
it more than made its money back.
Absolutely. And in all honesty, wasn't this also the year of This was also the year of Despicable Me 2, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember if it was or not, but that was a huge hit. Why? But it was a huge hit. When I see the box office take of any Illumination film breaching $1 billion, I tend to get a little upset over that.
I mean, to be fair, Despicable Me 2 did not breach $1 billion.
No, it did not. No, but 3 did. And 3 is awful.
And
3
2
genuinely a bad movie.
And 2 was $30 million away from hitting $1 billion.
God damn it.
970.
Yep. Okay. But
yeah, Frozen 2. Frozen was
fine. You need, if you're babysitting the kids, you just need something to throw on. You could do worse. You could, especially with Pixar, you could do worse. This is still, to me, ranks above all the Cars movies. This ranks above several movies, including some sequels.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put it above all the Cars movies. I haven't seen Good Dinosaur, but I'd still put it above it.
I watched it once. I fell asleep. I'm gonna have to do a rewatch.
Well, we're both gonna have to do a watch.
Right. Well, I'm gonna put this above Finding Dory as well.
Haven't seen that one either.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to eventually. It's coming up. Actually, very soon. Oh yeah, it's coming up very soon. 2016.
Oh, so what is the next one we do anyway?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Mike, because I think we're done discussing Monsters University, which all fairness, good movie.
It's fine.
It's fine. The next one, yes,
the next one,
my personal favorite Pixar film. Inside Out.
It's gonna be hard to rewatch that one though.
Oh, you kidding me? I'm watching it at work because I usually tend to be more emotionally detached while I'm watching it, while it's on the monitor in front of me while I'm working.
Inside Out is a magnificent movie, but boy, does it have an emotional gut punch.
Oh, and you don't have children, Mike.
No, I don't. And it still had me bawling in the theater.
Yeah. So that will be our next film, which we will review next week. I'm really looking forward to that one. I adore that movie. So we will talk about it then. But we want to know from you, what are your thoughts on Monsters University? Where does this rank in your all-time Pixar? Does it crack the top 10? Is it kind of in the top 15 somewhere? I'll say this is probably my top 15 somewhere.
How many Pixar movies are there?
22, I think.
24.
Because of the pandemic, Soul and Luca have screwed up the count. To me. Just to me only.
Right now there's 24, including Soul and Luca.
Okay. It's possible this is a top 15.
It's top 20 for me.
Okay. Well, you know what? I did have a conversation with Movies After Work about this, so maybe I'd go back and listen to that and stuff. So anyway, we want to know what your thoughts are on Monsters University. Leave a polite comment below. If you are new to the channel, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to give us a subscribe button. We do this every week. At least we try to do it every week. Last week was tough. Last week was very tough. But we are putting out videos every week. We also put our podcasts on here, which Mike and I host, Geek Salad. You can check us out also wherever you get your podcasts. If you're going to drive and listen to podcasts, try not to do it on YouTube. Do it on your podcast app. We're on all of them. So check us out there. Also follow us on social media, on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio and on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. Check out our merch store at TeePublic using the keyword Geek Salad Podcast. Oh, also, big announcement. We are getting our if you are watching this live or sometime within August 30th, new episode is launching. Our new podcast episode 214, is launching tonight at midnight.
I was about to bring that up.
It's about fast food, and it is hands down our shortest episode we've done in 13 years with this show. Yeah. Legitimately under a half hour. It is the shortest show we've ever done. It's crazy, but it is a two-piece though. It is audio and there's video. It's the same show. Woo! Yeah, watch it twice. Because we sometimes you just gotta listen to it. Sometimes you gotta hear it, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. Plus, with the audio, I did go through some trouble getting some drops in there. So because I have to. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. We'll talk to you later.